Hello friends, welcome back to Pen and Paper YouTube channel. Here we use simple pen and paper to explain complex legal topics. So our today's topic is section 139 of the Negotiable Instrument Act, which deals with the presumption in check bounce cases, and more importantly, how the burden of proof is going to work under this section. So let's see friends. So friends, now we will see what is section 139. Section 139 of the Negotiable Instrument Act says when a check is issued and it is going to bounce, the court, so basically here the court will presume that the check was issued for repayment of a legally enforceable debt or liability. So this presumption is like in favor of the holder, that is the complainant, and the court presumes that whenever there is a check is been issued and when the payment has been not done by the drawer, so there is a presumption that which is going to favor the complainant that a check is issued for the discharge of debt or the liability. So in simple words, let's understand the law starts with presumption that the check was given for a valid purpose. So this is very important to understand here, friends. So let's see one example. If A is going to issue a check of rupees 50,000 to B, so there are two people. One is the drawer and one is the payee. And here A is going to pay rupees 50,000 check to B. And then later, due to any reason like insufficient of funds or the stop payment or the account is been closed, the reason might be anything. So the payment is been not cleared in the bank to B. So here the court will automatically assume that A gave this check to repay debt which is going to owe to B. So the main ingredient under section 139 is there is a presumption in favor of the complainant. So friends, now we will see the second aspect under this topic, that is burden of proof. So the burden of proof is on the accused, the person who issued the check, who is going to be called as drawer here. So it is now their responsibility to prove that the check was not issued for a debt. And here only they need to rebut the presumption under section 138, and this is called the rebutting the presumption. And the accused can do this either by producing evidence or by showing a probable defense. So complainant goes to court. He is going to file complaint in the court, and then he is going to produce the check along with the written memo and the notice and all the things. So when accused is arriving in the court, he need to prove that the check was not given on the legal, that is the debt which is been he is going to legally pay to be here. And let's see one of the example here. Suppose A is going to claim that check was given as gift. So the 50,000 rupees what we have discussed in this example, we'll again go back here. So if in case A claims that the check was given as a gift, so here A is going to be the accused in the court and B is going to be complainant. So the 50,000 rupees check which he was given to B was given as a gift. It was not under any legally enforceable debt. And then he can also claim that it was stolen and misused by B. Only mere mentioning by the words or giving statement is not enough. They need to prove it in a evidence, because this is an evidence case, and everything whatever you are going to tell to the court, you need to be make sure that this need to have a proper evidence, that is a documentary evidence. If A produce some evidence or circumstances just to create doubt that the check was not given on the any kind of the claim what the complainant is mentioning here, then the burden is going to shift back to B here, because again he need to prove that whether he has given that money or he has just received that check or he has been misused the check which was given for the safety purpose. So friends, now we will see how can accused rebut, that is the presumption, and rebuttal is possible by cross-examination, producing documents, and showing improbabilities. So the accused does not need to prove his defense beyond reasonable doubt in like in the criminal cases. Here the standard is only that of a probable defense. This means if accused can raise enough doubt the check was being issued for a debt, then the presumption under section 138 will not stand. So they need to prove that it was not given in for any of the legally enforceable debt. Again, we will go back to our example and we will try to understand this. So let's say A, who is going to show that he had already paid the money to B. So again, we will go back to the 50,000 example. The check has been given to B and the check was later made the stop payment and then it has been bounced or any of the reason. So here, uh, the accused is going to show that he has already made a payment to B just because not by wordings or by mere statement. He brings bank statement as proof. The 50,000 rupees, maybe the check has been bounced and he is going to bring the bank statement. He's showing that B has already received this much of money. So this is like a statement of proof and this is enough to make the court to consider and shift the burden back on B. So then he need to make the complainant need to show that the 50,000 what the bank transaction A is showing that he has not received or there is any kind of issues. So again, the standard here in this section is the probable defense, which is not beyond the reasonable doubt. And if accused is going to prove that, the burden is going to shift on the complainant. So friends, now we will see some key Supreme Court judgments. The first one is the Rangappa versus Sri Mohan in the year 2010, and the second one is Baslingappa versus Mudibasappa, that is year 2019. So in the first case, that is Rangappa versus Sri Mohan, the Honorable Supreme Court has clarified that once a check is admitted to be issued, the presumption under section 139 is going to apply. So that means the check was given for a legally enforceable debt. And again, this presumption is rebuttable, that is, and the accused has to show probable defense not to prove beyond reasonable doubt. So these are the two cases which are very the landmark judgment from the Supreme Court, which has again clearly stated that whenever there is a check is given to anyone, so that is being considered for a legally enforceable debt. But again, the uh, presumption under section 139 need to be rebutted by the accused in the court, stating that the payment has already been done or the documentary evidence. So make sure that whenever you are going to uh, present from a defense side, make sure that you need to have the defense very well. It is a documentary evidence, and if the check has been given and misused by complainant. But if in case there is any genuine reason, um, pen and paper channel suggests that you need to just consider that the check was given for any legal debt or the liability which you are legally supposed to pay to someone. Then make sure that it should not go beyond, because we have seen many cases where the accused one point they are not able to produce any defense and then they will be found guilty. So make sure that you will be taking care of all these things in case of check and safeguard yourself. So friends, to conclude today's video, section 139 creates a presumption that bounce check was issued for repayment of debt, but this presumption is not absolute. The accused has the right to rebut it with a possible defense. So we all have seen what are the scenarios and the examples in this video. So thank you for watching Pen and Paper YouTube channel. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more simple pen and paper explanations of law. We'll meet you in the next video. Take care. Thank you.